Today we're looking at my two favorite carry guns, or two of my favorite carry guns, the M&P Equalizer and the Spectre Comp. I'm going to compare and contrast these two guns, and I'm actually going to tell you which one I like the best and why at the end of the video. Now I'm going to cover quite a bit here. If I miss anything, I've done individual reviews on both guns. You can go over and check those out. And I recently did the 7 best carry guns of 2023 compared, where these two were in that video as well. But let's take a look at these two. We'll talk about the features that make them unique. We'll go through the pros and cons of each. I'll talk about how they carry, how they shoot, and again, we'll pick a winner at the end. Now, let's first look at the specs, okay? If we look at the width here, they're both pretty similar, just over an inch wide, right? The Equalizer is a little bit longer and it's a little bit heavier as well. So you got 22.9 ounces on the Equalizer and 20.7 on the Spectre Comp. Now my Equalizer is a little bit heavier too because I got the EPS carry on there, okay? And that of course is unloaded weights. Grip height on the Equalizer is 4.5 inches. On the Spectre Comp is 4.8 inches. Now those are with flush fitting magazines. Now since this one has the optic on there, I can't really look at them on their backs, but what I can do is kind of put them on their side there. So you can see that little bit of a difference, 0.3 of an inch there as far as the height. And so that will make a little bit of a difference as far as how they carry. Now let's walk around the guns and let me show you what makes each one of these unique. Let's first start with the Equalizer. So front and rear slide serrations, full-size Picatinny rail, rounded off trigger guard, reversible magazine release. Your magazine options here on the Equalizer are really good. So you have the 10 round flushed, you have the 13 round extended, and then you also have the 15 round extended magazine as well. So it carries the Shield Plus magazines, so it is compatible with those, which is definitely a good thing. Now you do have a grip safety on the back, so essentially you cannot fire this gun unless that grip safety is engaged. So essentially, try to pull our trigger, trigger is dead until we engage that grip safety. Now it is a passive thing, right? And I assume they had to do this because it has an internal hammer. You can get this with a manual safety as well if that's something that you want to do. But just know you got to have a full grip on this gun in order for it to fire. Slide stop right here. And this one is rocking the EPS carry. This is a fantastic enclosed sight from Hollison, man. Really clear dot. And I'm going to get some bursting effect because I have astigmatism. But when it comes to carry dots on a pistol, this is amongst one of the best that I've used so far. The slide serrations are really aggressive. It has these little, somewhat of a wing in the back here, so you can assist in charging up the gun. Now this gun's claim to fame is the fact that it is so easy to rack. So the M&P Shield EZ that came out a few years ago utilized this same concept, where essentially with one finger I can rack this gun. So if you're an older person, you have carpal tunnel, some kind of issue with your hands, or you're a younger person, or whatever the case may be, pretty much anybody can rack this gun. And that's why it's got that internal hammer. Of course, you have a steel set of just standard white dot sights. You have a port right here, or a little porthole, if you will, where you can see your brass down in the chamber. So a feature-rich gun for sure. Beaver tail there in the back, super easy to break down and all of that kind of stuff as well. And the grip texturing, I think they've pretty much dialed this in where it is almost perfect. It's not too aggressive, yet it does give you a good amount of texturing there to keep the gun locked into your hand. Now, let's check out the Spectre Comp. So you do have a rail. It's a proprietary rail, but companies do make attachments for this, so it shouldn't be a problem finding any kind of lighter or laser. Front and rear slide serrations. Remember, this is from Sig Custom Works, so it is essentially a custom carry gun straight from the factory. It is optics ready. You can see all these cuts and things that the custom work guys have done. And you also have a integrated compensator. It doesn't thread on, but it actually helps to keep that muzzle down whenever you're firing. Personally speaking, my favorite set of pistol sights, period, right? You have the X-ray sights with that bright green dot, blacked out rear tritium, and then the TIN gold trigger and barrel. Again, it's a custom gun straight from the factory. So you have these, of course, special slide serrations and all that kind of stuff. Lightning cut here in the slide. It is not ported. And then there is the rest of that gold barrel right there. LXG laser engraved grip. So it's got again, a specialized grip texturing right there. Keeps the gun locked into your hand. So when it comes to a comfortable carry gun, this is amongst one of the most comfortable guns I've ever held in my hand for this size of gun. It really is really impressive. When it comes to a gun that is super comfortable in the hand, it doesn't get much better than the Spectre Comp or even the P365 XL. A little bit more aggressive though than the Equalizer for sure, and you can see that trigger right there, magazine release. Now you do have a standard 12-round mag with the Spectre Comp, which is why it is a little bit longer, but it actually does use the X Macro magazines as well, locks back, all that good stuff as well. So 17 rounds there for a backup magazine. That's pretty freaking good. Beaver tail in the back right there, extractor, porthole so you can see your brass down in the chamber. When it comes to carrying these guns, what you'll notice, or what I notice really, is just a little bit of extra weight with the Equalizer. The Spectre Comp, I love it in this configuration. I've yet to put a dot on it because I'm really a fan of the sights that come on this gun. I love it just the way it is, essentially. So when I'm carrying this one inside the waistband, I really have no issues at all. And I really don't have any issues with the Equalizer carrying inside the waistband either. It's just a matter of getting a good holster and gun belt to soak up some of that weight, some of that extra weight of the Equalizer. Remember, ounces and inches make a huge difference when we're talking about every single day carry inside the waistband specifically. So, in my opinion, the Spectre Comp is a little bit easier to carry, but you have, you know, roughly 2 ounces less that you have to account for there. But that leads us to the other side of the equation. How do they shoot? So we consistently saw that the Equalizer from me and Mrs. Heckshot had better groups. And typically the more weight, the less recoil you're gonna feel, but it's kind of hard to gauge, but shooting them back to back, I felt like the Spectre Comp keeps the muzzle down just a little bit more, and that would be because of that integrated compensator. But when it came down to it, from the range results, the Equalizer was a little bit more consistent. Now you may say, well, yeah, you got a red dot on there, so it's easier. Not really, man. Not really. I'm really good with these sights on this gun. So normally I would say, yeah, I probably need to put a dot on there, but when I'm comparing this gun to pretty much any other pistol, or at least with these sights, I feel very confident and capable with this gun. And really, I feel that way even compared to the Equalizer. You know, in a self-defense situation, do I feel confident enough that I'm going to be able to put shots on target with this gun right here? I would say absolutely. But at the end of the day, the Equalizer was a little bit more consistent for us. Now that is not because of the trigger. So if you check out the trigger on the Spectre Comp, you get to the wall, little bit of take up there and it breaks. Get to the wall, creeps a little bit, breaks. Very minimal travel. They really did a decent job on that trigger. When you compare that to the Equalizer, you hit the wall and it breaks. Reset. Right there. Okay? So both of them have decent enough triggers for self-defense guns. I think, you know, and I even said this in the video, that if the Equalizer had the trigger of the Shield Plus, which is right here, man, that would make it even better. But again, I'm not really arguing with the results that I get from the Equalizer. What about the cons on each one of these guns? Let's start with the Spectre comp here. First of all, the cost. You know, $1,200 MSRP for a carry gun, no matter if it's a custom carry gun or not, it's just a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. And so I know a lot of people will say, man, I don't want a $1,200 gun getting confiscated if I have to use it in self-defense. You know, I look at it a couple different ways. If you're alive to have to worry about that, that's way more important, right? You just saved your life. Second of all, if you have concealed carry insurance, they will reimburse you in a lawful self-defense shoot anyway, so I'm not too much concerned with that. But the initial cost up front, it's a little pricey for sure. Also, you know, again, I don't really argue with the results because both these guns shoot really well, but I do wish that this trigger stood out better than what the XL does. I think it's a little bit better, like this much. But I don't think it's like significantly better than what they put in the XL, or hell, even the macro for that case. But all in all, from the integrated comp to the laser engraved grip, which can be a little bit rougher on your skin or your shirt or whatever, just keep that in mind. All in all, man, this is the most comfortable carry gun in the hand I've ever shot with the best set of pistol sights, period. Cons on the Equalizer. I'm not a fan of the grip safety at all. It's just not for me, man. I do not like it. Also, again, can I argue with the results from the shooting? Not really. But the trigger, it ain't the greatest. If you pull this in a gun shop, you're going to be like, dude, what was that guy on the internet talking about? Trust me, dude, it is one that should be shot instead of just dry fired. You know, it doesn't really like wow you when you pull this trigger. But if you get it on the range or you have a chance to rent one of these, that's where you would probably be impressed. Now, when I'm comparing the two guns to each other, I want to talk about those cons there as well. And so, in my opinion, trigger-wise, I think the Spectre comp is better between the two. I like the Spectre comp a little bit better as well because it is a lighter gun, right? The Equalizer, for what it is kind of heavy, you know? 23 ounces almost, 22.9 ounces. It's a little chunky, right, for what it actually is, okay? So I think they did a better job of slimming down the Spectre comp, cutting weight where needed in order to get a gun like that, and still a very shootable gun because of that integrated comp. Magazine options, right? Both of these utilize magazines from other guns as well. That's a good thing because that's going to give you more availability. Right out of the gate is 3/10 of an inch. Less grip height. Is that enough to justify losing 2 additional rounds? Well, that's a call that you'll have to make. But again, the fact that you have 10, 13, or 15 rounds for your Shield Plus is fantastic. 12 rounds when it comes to this gun, or 17 with the X Macro Mags. Do you have weaker dexterity in your hands? If you have trouble racking a slide, but you want a semi-auto, there's no other gun to get. I wouldn't even be looking at the EZ at this point. I would be looking at this gun because I think it's superior to the EZ. So when it comes down to it, which one of these guns do I like the best and why? Well, we can say if money wasn't an object, which for most people it is, right? But if money is no object, we'll just hypothetically say that anyways. You know, to me, you want the custom carry gun straight from the factory. Spectre comp is really hard to beat. It really is. It is a fantastic shooting gun. But I think all the way around, and again, if you don't like a grip safety on your gun, you know, people are really adamant about that. I mean, really adamant, where they do not want anything to do with that at all, where they say they would buy this gun except for that, right? So in that case, I guess, you know, the Spectre comp would win if you're that person. But if I'm looking at it from a value standpoint, from a shootability standpoint, I'm willing to take on a little bit more weight. This gun, I just think, offers so much You're able to buy this gun and an optic and some ammo probably for the same cost you have with just the Spectre comp. That's a huge difference in price. And again, I love the Equalizer, man. I feel great with both these guns. I carry both of these guns a lot of the time because they shoot so freaking well and I trust them with my life. But I think the Equalizer just offers a better value and does everything the Spectre comp does for the most part at a cheaper cost. Well, that's just my opinion, dude. If you were to ask me on any given day, hey, Heg, which one do you want to carry today? It could be either one of these because I absolutely love both these carry guns. So probably not the answer you were looking for because I'm a fan of both, but I tried to do the best I could. I'd love to hear what your opinion is down below. Which one of these guns do you like the best and why? Let me know. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.